welcome back to episode 4 of Books and Blues. It's our penultimate episode. Next week will be our last episode for the series.
Soon we'll have book 2.
Soon we'll have book 2. We'll celebrate next week for that. But today, we thought we would read the last chapter, part of the last chapter, of the first book. This is chapter 36. I do believe, wow, something's odd here. I just realized. Oh, I just discovered something. In the paperback version of this book, in the end, they published the first chapter of the second book.
Again, he flips it downfield, and McLaurin!
I didn't even know
Should
that.
we read that instead?
That's pretty cool.
Should we read that instead?
We'll do that instead.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if you buy the paperback of Cookies and Milk, you get the first chapter of Ellis Johnson Might Be Famous, and I didn't even know that till now. That's awesome. So this will be part of so I'll set it up. So book 2 begins. It's Ellis's first year of middle school. He's now in middle school, and it's a little bit before Thanksgiving break, and the cookie store is a big success. And he's happy about that, but also a little kind of weirded out that he doesn't get as much of his dad's attention. And
Yeah? Should I start it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Chapter 1. Everyone's a star.
The mighty sun.
Middle school is not for the weak. I've been in 6th grade for 91 days, and the way I see it, I'm already halfway to high school. High school is halfway to college, and college is halfway to a job. I'm almost a grown-up. Sometimes I can barely remember elementary school, or that little kid at the cookie store grand opening. Hollywood Middle School is changing me, but not fast enough. My pranks don't work like they did in elementary school. Pranks are for kids. In middle school, you gotta step up your game. Middle school is about talent. Talent gets attention, and attention makes you famous. It seems like everyone in Hollywood Middle School is on their way to being famous. Just look around this classroom. Over in the second row is Diane Clark, studying her sides. Sides are a few pages from a movie or TV script. Diane is always reading her sides in Mr. Thomas's history class. She goes on auditions almost every day after school. By the time she was a 5th grader, Diane was already in 5 TV commercials, 2 plays, and 1 TV show. She's definitely going to be famous. Sitting right in front of me is James Vance. He's going to be famous. He's going to be a famous football player. How can you not be famous? How can you not be a famous football player with a name like James Vance? All he draws is football plays on his notebook. James is really good at pretending like he's taking class notes. He even looks up every now and then, nodding his head and looking closely at the board. He could be an actor too. What no one does in Mr. Thomason's history class is pay attention. Everyone is doing something else. Mr. Thomas is so in love with his history, he doesn't even notice. Currently, he's writing one more of his timelines with another bunch of really old dates. 2780 BC, 2040 BC, 1540 BC. How does learning about 1540 BC help me now in 1976?
We have to learn where we've come from to help us understand where we are headed.
Mr. Thomas says as he keeps writing more numbers on the board. His sideburns are plastered to the sides of his head like fuzzy pork chops. I pull my harmonica out of my pocket and set it on my desk. It's a lot more interesting than Mr. Thomas's timeline. The harmonica is the best company you can keep. One day, I'm going to be a famous harmonica player. I know it. I already have my blues name, Howlin' Johnson. Muddy Waters gave it to me when he came to my cookie store. He's the greatest blues singer in the world, so he knows something about blues names. The clock on the wall gives me 2 minutes until the bell rings. Now's the time. This isn't a prank. Technically, it's a rehearsal for my big performance. I mostly play harmonica in my room, at Alex's house, or in my clubhouse at the cookie store. But it's been 91 days. I've got to get serious. Sometimes you gotta take a chance.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a perfect segue to have our harmonica lesson.
I once again have forgot to practice, but you know.
So this is the number one rule of learning harmonica is practicing harmonica. It's hard to get better if you don't practice.
That is a good point.
So we've had a few lessons now. We talked about the low note and at the left end of the harmonica. We talked about to hold the harmonica properly. We talked about the difference between blowing and drawing notes, and we learned how to play a scale in the middle of the harmonica. So I thought for today we'd sort of just review what we've learned so far, check in on Harper's progress here, and then we'll move on to the next lesson for our final episode next week. So I see you're holding it correctly. Hold it for the very nice. Holding
that I'm good at.
The proper mouth placement on a harmonica. You don't like kiss it like a you really want to. Yep.
You bite it.
So let's try blow a low C for me. Nice. Put some more energy in it. Just a lead. Yeah. Nice. Now play a chord. So the first 3 notes there. Nice. Nice. Now let's try scale. So there's a pattern to the scale. So we start on the 4th hole, which is also a C, and we blow and draw through that same hole. Blow, draw through the 5 hole. Blow, draw through the 6 hole, and then draw, blow in the 7th hole. So let's try that. Now it's a C scale. So
I think I did that early.
So I'm playing a different key to that. I forgot my C harmonica, so this is a B flat, but still.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, single note there. You gotta really pucker hard to get that single note. No, that's more than that. So we're gonna learn next week a technique called tongue blocking. And if you take your tongue, tip your tongue, and sort of put it on the lines of the comb. So this little piece in between the harmonica, so there's a plate on the top, there's a plate on the bottom, these are called covers. And then in the middle, it's called a comb. Because if you were to take these plates off, this would literally look like a comb, like you comb your hair. And so there's these lines of the comb, right? You can see these lines, right? And if you put the tip of your tongue at the edge of these lines, it'll help you sort of know where you're at. It's like a guidepost. You use your tongue to figure out where you're at. So if you tip your tongue, it makes it a little bit easier to get a cleaner note. We'll talk more about it next week. Right on the line. So just tip your tongue.
That didn't work.
That sounds a little cleaner, right?
I've lost track.
You lost track, but it's a cleaner note.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's a little preview for next week's lesson, tongue blocking. There's 2 ways to get a note. So a clean single note. One's what's called lip pursing. That's what we've been doing. So pursing your lips, like, and that requires a lot of muscle here to get a clean note. And then the second way is tongue blocking. So we'll talk about tongue blocking next week. Harper, I trust you will practice. For our last segment for the day, it is the Blues Dude You Should Know. The Blues Dude You Should Know this week is actually not a blues dude. It is a soul band, the Jackson 5. The first band featuring a very young Michael Jackson.
I think everyone knows the Jackson 5, but
maybe not. But we're bringing this album up because in the book, Ellis goes to Wishbone's DJ studio one day and he discovers this album in the DJ booth. So thought we would show you the real album that's discussed in the book. Get It Together by the Jackson 5 on the Motown label, famous Motown label, and it is chock full. Is that one of their better known albums? I think probably their best known album is ABC.
Yeah.
ABC.
This one is a little known but cool album. It's got a lot of, it's sort of more funk inspired in a way. So if you want to get some deep cuts, check out Jackson 5. Get it together.
It's real old. It's all scratched up.
Yeah, I got this album when I was your age, basically. Look at that. I love the Office. Look at the Office. That's killer, isn't it?
They look like Power Rangers.
Totally. All right. Well, friends, thank you as always for tuning in. We'll see you next week for our final episode. And remember, practice and read and have fun.
Love y'all. Bye.